This is a barbell inverted row with an offset reach. So as you can see, I've got one side of the bar is higher than the other. Now that's about a 2 to 3 inch difference. You want to pay attention to your notes to see which hand is going to be elevated. So in this case, when I'm inverted, my right hand's going to be a little bit higher than the left. What that's going to do is if my right hand's a little bit elevated, it's going to bias a turn of my sternum to the left. And that's going to bias a bit more expansion on my left back and a little bit more front chest on the right. So what we're trying to do is bias expansion into certain areas of our rib cage here. So like I said, pay attention to your note, make sure that you have the right side elevated. Now this is best shown from an angle because we want to make sure that our body doesn't move. So the only thing that's moving is our arms. The rest of us is staying nice and locked down in this kind of plank position. So when you set up, you're going to set up about shoulder width or a little bit wider apart. So I'm going to find, in this case, the knurling on the bar and go maybe just a hair wider than shoulder width apart. Then when I go to post up, you can have a slight bend in your knee, that's fine, or you can straighten them out. I find it a little bit easier to have a slight bend. If you are at an angle that you feel like you're slipping away, feel free to put a weight plate or a heavy dumbbell or something like that to anchor your heels in position. So from here, I want to get a nice reach through my shoulder blades. So get a little bit of protraction to start. Not enough that I'm rounded, but just to wrap my shoulder blades around my rib cage. From here, I'm going to exhale. Arms come to midline. Inhale. On the way back, full protraction. So nice controlled movement here. Notice that I move as one unit. You don't necessarily have to touch the bar to your chest. Notice that my elbows are in line with my midline at the top position. That's a full rep. The most common mistakes that you see here is, like I said, number one, where people will kind of sink down and not move as one unit. The next piece is people just moving way too quickly. So we want to focus on our breathing here. So nice controlled tempo through the movement. The last piece that we see is, again, losing that plank position, but instead of sagging down, people will flare and extend through their rib cage. So as they get fatigued, they'll kind of extend through their low back to get there. We want to make sure that we stay nice and stacked through the movement the entire time.